everyone. This is Whitney, and welcome back to an episode of Spastic Chatter. And this is a Spastic Chatter special. But if you're new here, Spastic Chatter is a platform meant to feature those in the cerebral palsy community. But like I said, this is a Spastic Chatter special where I bring individuals and products and things that I think will benefit the cerebral palsy community. And I have with me Leanne, and she started a app called a Second Skin Society, and it's all about health and fitness. And I'm excited to talk with her today about it, and I will let Leanne give a better description, and then we'll get on with the conversation. So take it away, Leanne.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me, Whitney, and thank you for everyone for tuning in. It's great to be here and share a little bit about what I'm doing. So my name's Leanne. I'm the founder and CEO of Second Skin Society, just as Whitney had said. And we are building a new health and fitness app that's designed around accessibility and inclusivity. So making sure that people that have vision loss or hearing loss or other physical disabilities still have access to health and fitness in a way that works for them, but also importantly, making sure that their family and friends and caregivers and social circle can both participate in the wellness and fitness content together. So we create this inclusive environment where everyone gets to access health and fitness, and I'm super excited about it. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I think that that's one area of having a disability that's not talked about enough is health and fitness. Because and everyone that listens to this podcast know that I'm very candid on what I say. I'm not politically correct, but I feel like society just thinks that, hey, you're disabled, so you can't. So there's no need to work out and be active when it's completely the opposite. If you don't use it, you lose it. In my case, so I'm curious if you've had any user testimonies that were the same way, or how that process is going. And well, first off, I'd love to hear about how your structure is.
For sure. I'll give you a little kind of super short version of how we got here. So I was running a virtual platform. I did have a brick and mortar yoga studio, which through the pandemic, we shifted into a virtual membership. And we were starting to offer different services when it comes to wellness. So different movement modalities and adding in some workshops and nutritional resources. And I actually started working with some corporations and helping their employee teams through our membership. And it was through the work that we were doing with our members and our corporate clients that we got a lot of feedback about how grateful people were that we had accessible options. So that got me thinking, just because, I spent over 2 decades. I worked with people with disabilities for over 20 years before I started my business. So when I was getting this feedback from people, that's when it became really clear to me that there was such an unmet need. And you're right. I think, society thinks, well, you don't need to work out, but it's so untrue. Every single person needs to move their body. It's for physical, mental, and emotional health, that every person benefits from moving their body. If that's 5 minutes, if that's 60 minutes, if that is a meditation or stretching, or if that's high intensity cardio, it doesn't matter. Everyone finds benefit from movement and from health and fitness. And so when I was getting this feedback from people that they really liked the accessible options that we had, I got to thinking, I can do better. if this is a need that I'm hearing that people are saying they don't see it with other vendors, or they haven't had, a positive experience with a health and fitness membership that works for them in the way that, their body needs adaptive or accessible options, I thought I could do it better. And so that's what led us to create our new product. And the new product really focuses, it's quite broad. We bring in as many different features into the app development itself, as well as the content development, to serve as many people as we can to create that access. But we know that there's so much work to do. There's so many things that we want to, continue to expand on. And we have heard from people. I'll say one of the number one, people love the fact that there's so much representation. There's so much integration of people with disabilities in everything we do. So the content we create, it's co-created by fitness instructors with disabilities and fitness instructors without disabilities. So that together we come and we create the different versions, the different adaptive versions, so that it speaks to, a large audience. But one of the things that I've heard from feedback is that people love that, sometimes they have a partner that uses a wheelchair and they don't, and they've never been able to find something that both people could come and work out together in the same exact class. And I love being able to bring people in and have that kind of built-in community experience. Because that's something that doesn't exist on the market right now. There's nothing right now where you and a family member or friend or a caregiver even could both participate in the same content if you both have very different needs. And so what we've done is we've created 4 different versions provided by 4 different instructors in each and every class, so that you can choose which instructor meets your needs in the class, and you can follow along with that instructor. That's how we create that inclusive piece.
I love that. And I like how I know of other fitness apps, but they're specifically tailored for the individual with disabilities, and that there's not that caregiver aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you offer that as well. And I love that. I was looking at your website before this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you offer a nutritional aspect to it as well, right? Because that is another important part that needs to be talked about with people with disabilities. Because if you weight has a significant impact on everyone's quality of life, but especially those with disabilities. Speaking from my experience, if I'm overweight and I'm eating like a bunch of junk, my transfers are severely impacted, and I'm falling. And not to mention, if I fall, if I'm overweight, it makes it to where it's hard for another person to lift me up off the floor. So can you speak about the nutritional side of?
For sure. Yeah, so that's something that we're still building out, because the nutritional aspects that we had included in our previous platform, it wasn't really through the lens of what was going to be supportive for people with disabilities. It was kind of more of a general, these are some great nutritional resources, but we're now working, again, co-creating content created by nutritionists and wellness experts around nutrition that have disabilities, as well as nutritional experts that don't have disabilities. I'm just a big believer in making sure that we bring in both pieces to the conversation in order for it to be impactful in the way that it's intended to. So we're absolutely going to be speaking to, the different needs. People with disabilities have different needs. Again, that term is so broad and it's encompassing of a lot of different people. So there will be a lot of different nutritional pieces that come out. But as you mentioned, it makes quality of life so much different. And there's a lot of information that's not, if it's not specifically geared towards people with disabilities, it's not necessarily relevant, if that makes sense. So we're in the midst of putting together a bunch of different nutritional resources to add into our movement pieces to make sure that we're looking at this through the lens of accessibility and disability, and making sure that anything that we can do to support people when it comes to their health, those pieces are included in what we're offering. So I won't say we have, gone out and developed all of this content or all of these resources in the nutritional space yet. That's currently something that we're working on. So it'll be added in as the app is released.
Awesome. I love that you're adding that feature in with also like professionals that know their stuff. And I apologize for those that are listening and watching this. But my mom currently came in and was cleaning, so if you hear background noise, I apologize, but this is real life. So I apologize for that. But no, we're good. But I would love to hear more about do you charge for your app, or do you offer sliding scale options? Can you talk more about that?
For sure. So right now we are offering a bunch of different opportunities. So when the app is released, we're releasing over National Accessibility Week this year. So it's the last week of May into the first week of June is when the app will be released. And we're working on a bunch of different partnerships with organizations, because we've been working with corporations and a lot of organizations are looking to diversify their employee teams. We're able to help by, being a vendor for organizations that want to have something that's more inclusive. And we're also working with organizations that provide support to people with disabilities so that we can provide a subsidized opportunity for people. So some of those partnerships are already kind of in the works, and I'll have some more information about those soon. But our direct-to-consumer platform, so anyone could join our membership. It costs $20 a month or $200 for the year. That's kind of like the general rate. But if you're looking for a more accessible option, these are where the partnerships with some of the organizations we're currently working with are coming into play. So we want to be able to make sure that, along with providing more access to health and fitness in a way that's going to work for you, that finances aren't a barrier either. We understand that can be a real challenge for people. So we're working to make sure that we mitigate that as best as we can. And for anyone that wants to join now before we have some of those organizations in place, I'm happy to have that conversation with people and see what we can do to make sure that people get access.
Awesome. And I have one more question that I'm wondering about. So why did you name your business Second Skin Society?
I love that question. It's one that I get every once in a while, and it's one of my favorite questions. So when I was deciding to open the business, I had mentioned that I opened it actually as a brick and mortar yoga studio first when I started the business. I was really thinking about what I wanted people to experience. And when I was thinking about what I had experienced, the whole reason that I got into fitness and yoga, it was always a hobby of mine. But when it came to getting certified to teach, the reason that I did that was because I found myself through movement. I found a different version of myself through movement. And I found that for me, movement became very empowering. So I felt like every time that I showed up for myself and I showed up for my body and for my mental health through exercise, I was kind of getting deeper into me as a person, and I was starting to kind of shed those layers of myself. And if you think about like peeling back the onion, or as the snake sheds its skin and it's kind of this like new version of itself, that to me was what I wanted people to experience. It wasn't about the physical piece of, burning calories or any of those things that happens when you exercise. But what I wanted people to experience when they came into our studio, and I still want people to experience this when they work with us in whatever capacity that is, whether they're exercising with us or they're taking advantage of nutritional resources or other wellness workshops. I want people to really experience growth and transformation in themselves as human beings, and that never ends. That peeling back the layers or the shedding of the skin, that's something that we should all want to experience over and over, because we just get to know ourselves in such a different and a deeper way. And so Second Skin came because that was what I was thinking about. What I want people to experience was that shedding of the skin and finding a new or more true version of themselves by experiencing what we offered through our health and fitness programs.
Awesome. I love that it's all about transformation and things like that. And I can't wait for when your app launches, and I just see so much possibility with all this. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you want to touch on?
I think the only thing that I would love to just say, and this has been something that's just been coming up for me lately in conversations with people, is that I believe there is so much impact that we can make by making health and fitness accessible beyond the actual physical and mental benefits of it. That industry, the health and fitness industry as a whole, plays a very large role in the value that is placed on bodies. And so to me, looking at breaking barriers in that industry means so much more beyond the health and fitness industry. I really think that if we can get that entire industry and our society as a whole to start thinking about or to start thinking differently about how we place value on bodies, that the entire community of people with disabilities will benefit greatly across society in different industries, as we start to think about why was that? Why did we allow an industry? When you think about in the beauty industry, there's a lot of industries that are focused around looking a certain way or being a certain way, and when you don't fit that mold, you're looked at as less than. And I say that meaning, that it's not just for people with disabilities. It's for a lot of people that struggle with weight or self-esteem or, any of those pieces that come along with those industries. So it's really important to me that we create real change and break barriers in the health and fitness industry, because I believe it'll have a really big impact across our society at large. So that's a big part of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'm just excited for this new app to be out into the world. I'm excited for people to experience it and to get feedback about the things that they love and the things that they wish were different, so we can just get better and better at creating that more accessible and inclusive environment for people.
I love that. And I love that you Leanne actually reached out to me, and I love that, and this is an app that I can really get behind, because I'm all about health and fitness, as a disabled person. So I'm just excited to see where your app goes, and I love that I was able to sort of promote it in a way on my podcast. And I really enjoyed talking with you today. And I'm gonna leave all your links in the description. And like I said, I loved talking with you. And for those of you watching, check back periodically for regular episodes, or in like specials like this. And until next time, I was gonna say I'd see everyone later, but I don't. But yeah.
Thank you so much, Whitney. It was my pleasure to be here and to get to share. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.